Good morning, folks. Welcome to Advisory. I hope you guys had a restful, fun weekend. Welcome to another exciting edition of
How to Be a Longhorn.
Before we get started, I want to remind everybody that all of the policies, procedures, and expectations that you've heard about through these videos and will hear about for the rest of the week will start officially being enforced on Monday, August 29th. That is the day that everyone should know the student handbook front to back, should understand what is expected of them, and should follow those expectations. That said, let's talk about attendance, tardies, and attendance for credit. According to the state laws of Texas, every student who is enrolled in a public school must attend school on time, all day, every day school is in session. If absent, the school requires a written explanation as to why you were absent, and students can bring that here at WT White to their assistant principal's office by alpha. So whatever your counselor and assistant principal is by alphabet, that is who you will bring your excuse notes to. To receive credit for a class a student is passing, the student has to attend the class at least 90% of the days the class is offered for the entire period of instruction. And you'll have to do that math. I was an English teacher, and so I'm not good at it. An excessive number of absences, where the student is absent 10 or more unexcused days within a 6-month period, will result in attendance officers filing a truancy complaint and may result in court proceedings. Here in Dallas ISD, we have something called attendance for credit, which means that students that are passing a class but have missed more than 10% of the class will have an opportunity to regain credit through attendance for credit, or AFC as we call it. This chart details how many absences equal how many hours of required seat time during attendance for credit offerings, which will be outside of regular school hours, either before or after school, or oftentimes during a Saturday. Students will be let known through advisory or other teachers when attendance for credit sessions are being offered. If you have 11 or more unexcused absences, it requires an approved petition through the principal and 10 hours of course-specific tutoring. Let me tell you, it's much easier just to go to class. I also want to point out that this seat time only counts if you are passing the class that you have these absences in. So if you have all these absences but you still aren't passing the class, you will not be able to sit for seat time and gain credit. That just means that when you are absent, you need to make sure that you make up any missing work by talking to your teacher after you come back. Let's talk now about our tardy policy here at WT White. These first 2 weeks of class have been a time for us to practice getting to class on time with the 5-minute passing period that we have between classes. I hope that by next Monday, August 29th, everyone knows where they're going, everyone has a correct schedule, and we shouldn't have anybody in the halls after the tardy bell rings. Students who are tardy will enter class, sign the teacher's tardy log, and then the teacher will log a tardy in PowerSchool. Students who accumulate 4 to 8 tardies will serve lunch detention, 1 for each 4 tardies. Students with 8 and above tardies will be subjected to multiple lunch detentions and a parent conference. And I want to point out that this is not tardies in one class, this is tardies overall. So it's very important that you get to all of your classes on time. All tardies will reset to 0 with each new 9 weeks. And so after the grading period, you go back to 0 no matter how many tardies you've accumulated, and everyone gets a clean slate. Students with no tardies for the 9 weeks, or students who reduce their tardies from a previous 9 weeks, will be celebrated and rewarded in various ways throughout the year, so keep an eye out for that. As with the rest of the policies in the student handbook, all tardies will be enforced starting Monday, August 29th. That's when we're going to start counting how many tardies you have in PowerSchool and start assigning lunch detention if you have too many. This chart, also found in your student handbook, details how many tardies equals what disciplinary course of action. Here are my 5 best practices to avoid being late to class. Number 1, keep social interactions brief. We love seeing people say hi to each other in the halls. That's how we build community. But we also know that we need to get to class on time. So what I would suggest is a high five, a fist bump, a mixture of both, or a casual nod. Number 2, find the quickest path to your next class. I know this building can be very confusing. That's what these first 2 weeks are for. Figure out which direction your next class is in and find the shortest path possible between the 2 classes. Number 3, keep your phone use to a minimum. You can use your phone during the passing period, of course, but make sure that it's not so distracting to you or others that you're walking slower or causing other people behind you to have to walk slower. Number 4, Unless you can go really, really quick and there's no line, wait to use the bathroom until after the first 10 minutes of class and take the pass from your teacher so that you're not rushed. And number 5, walk with purpose. Try not to drag your feet. Try to get there with intention to get there quick. That's all from me today, advisors. You can go to the next slide and talk about the questions there. Have a great week this week. I'll see you around, and as always, be good to yourself and others.